what happened in the Cavite Mutiny. I'm Edward Salinas. In January 20, 1872, a historic year of two events, the Cavite Mutiny and the martyrdom of the three priests. They are Jose Burgos, Jacinto Zamora, and Mariano Gomez, later on immortalized as Gomberza. Based on my research, they were publicly executed and three of them subsequently became martyrs to the cause of Philippine independence. These events are very important milestones in our Philippine history, that are valuable to remember in the present.
The documentation by Spanish historian José Montero y Vidal centered on how the event was an attempt in overthrowing the Spanish government in the Philippines. Although regarded as a historian, his account of the Mutiny was criticized as woefully biased and rapid for a scholar. Another account from the official report written by the Governor-General Rafael Escuerdo implicated the native clergy, who were then active in a movement toward secularization of parishes. These two accounts corroborated each other.
The abolition of privilege enjoyed by the collaborators of the Cavite arsenal of exhibition from the tribute was, according to some, the cause of the insurrection. There were, however, other causes. The Spanish Revolution, which overthrew a secular throne, and the propaganda carried on by an unbridled press against monarchical principles. A century of the most sacred respect towards the dethroned majesty, the democratic and republican books and pamphlets, the speeches and preaching of the apostles of new ideas in Spain. The conspiracy had been going on since the days of La Torre with utmost secrecy. At times, the principal leaders met either in the house of Filipino Spaniards, the Joaquin Pardo de Tavera, or in that of the native priest Jacinto Zamora, and these meetings were usually offended by the curate of Bacor, the soul of the movement, whose energetic character and immense wealth enabled him to exercise a strong influence. So, ang pagwangtang sa mga plebeyo nga natagaptaman sa mga namuo sa Cavite Arsenal of Exhibition gikan sa tribute sumala sa papila nga hinungdan sa insurrection. Propaganda nga gihimo sa usa ka malay pugo nga press patok sa markiya ng mga prinsipyo nga nag-atimanan sa labing respect ngadto sa gitangtang sa trono.
Based on my research, it seems definite that the insurrection was motivated and prepared by the native clergy, by the mestizos and native lawyers, and by those known here as abogadillos. Some are residents of Manila, others from Cavite, and some from the nearby provinces. The instigators to carry out their criminal project protested against the injustice of the government in not paying the province for their tobacco crop, and against the usury that some officials practice in handling documents that the finance department gives crop owners who have to sell them at a loss. They encouraged the rebellion by protesting what they called injustice of having obliged the workers in the Cavite Arsenal to pay tribute starting January 1, 1872, and to render personal service from which they were formally exempted. To seduce the native troops, they resorted to superstitions with which the Indios are so prone to believe, persuading them that the chief of state or hari would be an ecclesiastic and the rest of the clergy who backed the uprising would celebrate daily for its success. Thus, the rebellion could not fail because God was with them, and those who have not revolt they would kill immediately. Taking advantage of the ignorance of those classes and the propensity of the Indio to steal, they offered to those who revolted the wealth of the Spaniards and of the regular clergy, employment and ranks in the army, and to this effect they said that 15 native battalions would be created, in which the soldiers who revolted would have jobs as officers and chiefs. The lawyers and abogadillos would direct the affairs of government, of the administration, and of justice. Up to now, it has not been clearly determined if they plan to establish a monarchy or a republic, because the Indios have no word in their language to describe this different form of government, whose head in Tagalog would be called hari. But it turns out that they would place at the head of the government a priest, and there were great probabilities, a certainty that the head selected would be Jose Burgos or Jacinto Zamora, parish priest of Pedro of Manila. All the Spaniards, including the friars, would be executed except for the women, and their belongings confiscated. Foreigners would be respected.
Differing account of the event of 1872. Two others primary account is the seems to counter the account of Ecoldo and Montero. First, the account of Dr. Trinidad Hermenegildo Pardo de Tavera, a Filipino scholar and researcher who wrote a Filipino version of the bloody accident in Cavite.
Primary source excerpt from Pardo de Tavera's account of the Cavite Mutiny. This uprising among the soldiers in Cavite was used as a powerful label by the Spanish resident and by the priores. The central government in Madrid has announced its intention to retrieve the priores in this island of powerful of intervention in matter of civil government and of the directions and management of the university. It was due to this fact and promises that the Filipino has great hope of an improvement in the affairs of their country, while Paris on their other hands feared that their power in the colony would soon be complete a things of the past. My explanation. The Cavite Mutiny served as a turning point that exposed the conflicting interests of the Spanish resident of the Friars and Filipino, while the Spanish resident and the Friars sought to maintain their control. The Filipino advocated positive changes in their country's affairs.
Excerpts from Plouchat's account of the Cavite Mutiny. General Latorre created a junta composed of high officials, including some friars and 6 Spanish officials. At the same time, there was created by the government in Madrid a committee to investigate the same problem, submitted to Manila Committee. When the two finished work, it was found that they came to the same conclusion. So here are the summary of reform they considered necessary to introduce. First is the changes in tariff rates of customs and the methods of collections. Second is removal of surcharges on foreign importations. Number 3, reduction of export fees, permission for foreigners to reside in the Philippines by real estates, enjoy freedom of worship, and operate commercial transports flying the Spanish flag. Then number 5, establish of an advisory council to inform the Minister of Overseas Affairs in Madrid on the necessary reform to be implemented. The next is changes in primary and secondary education. Then establishment of an Institute of Civil Administration in the Philippines, rendering unnecessary the sending home of short-term civil officials every time there is a change of ministry. And number 8 is study of the direct tax system. Then lastly is the abolition of tobacco monopoly. So the arrival in Manila of General Izquierdo But the sudden end to all dream of reforms by the new Governor General were probably expected as a result of the bitter disputes between the Filipinos clerics and their friars. It was previously decreed that there should be in Manila a Society of Arts and Trades to be opened in March of 1871. To respond to the growth of labor things in General Izquierdo suspended the opening of the school. So the Filipinos had duty to render service in public roads constructions, to pay taxes every year. So the Friar used NCD as a part of larger conspiracy to cement their dominance, which hence started to show crack because of the discontent of the Filipinos. A part of greater conspiracy of the Philippines by Filipinos to overthrow the Spanish government in unintentionally and more so prophetically the Cavite Mutiny of 1872 result in the martyrdom of Gamborza and paved the way to the revolution culminating in 1898.
The Gomburza is the collective name of the three martyred priests, Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, who were tagged as the masterminds of the Cavite Mutiny. They were prominent Filipino priests charged with treason and sedition. It is believed that the Spanish clergy connected the priests to the mutiny as part of a conspiracy to stifle the movement of secular priests who desired to have their own parishes instead of being merely assistants to the regular friars. The Gomburza were executed by garrote in public, a scene purportedly witnessed by a young Jose Rizal. Their martyrdom is widely accepted as the dawn of Philippine nationalism in the 19th century, with Rizal dictating his second novel, El Federalismo, to their memory. The government, by enshrouding your trial in mystery and pardoning your co-accused, has suggested that some mistake was committed when your fate was decided, and the whole of the Philippines, in paying homage to your memory and calling you martyrs, totally rejects your guilt. The Church, by refusing to degrade you, has put in doubt the crime charged against you.